welcome the next Second Lady of the United States, Gwen Walz.
Good morning, Pennsylvania. Good morning. Thank you. Thank you, Chair Sharif Street. That was an amazing introduction. Amazing. Okay, I have news for you. I'm moving to Pennsylvania. I was just there on Sunday. Yes, Alagrippa. That is one great football field, and it's the same color as the Mankato West Scarlets. So where Tim last coached. That was great. And I went to this place called Sheets. I'm like, Streets. Okay, I know this is controversial. All right, next time I'm coming to the Wawa. But I'm going back to that other place too. I'm not saying the name because we're moving on here. But I'm going back to that other place too because it was such a warm welcome. And there were so many things to see. If you watch that footage, I'm not in any of it because I was off exploring that store and ordering my stuff and seeing all what was there. So I'm anxious to come back to Pennsylvania and see everything that you have. And more than that, let's campaign together. Let's get this done together, right? I also just want to note a few things because I think it's important that I get to know you and that you get to know me a little bit. So I have a chance this morning to tell you a few things about myself. And the first thing that I want to tell you is that I love your governor. Yeah. Your governor has been a friend since he was on the trail and we were trying to help through the Democratic Governors Association. But he really became a friend when I met his wife, Lori, your First Lady. And we knew right away that we had so much in common. And there has not been one person that has been more supportive in the last 10 days than Lori Shapiro. I want to thank you for that. She has texted. She has sent me links to dresses she thinks that would look good on me. She has commiserated with me when I said, I cannot get my hair to work in this humidity and those sorts of things. But it's much deeper than that. We both value being First Ladies, but we value being moms. And we are important parts of the partnership. When Governor Shapiro is very public, I'm going to tell you that woman is as accomplished and as powerful as your governor. And in Minnesota, we work in partnership. So I just want you to know that. And the last Shapiro I want to mention is Soph. Do you guys know Soph? Yes. So she is actually working on the campaign. And I said, please put her with me every minute you can. She is a light, and she works as hard as Pennsylvania. I just can't even tell you. So thank you, and I want you to know that, because I think that's important. And I know that in the whole Veep stake thing, people have made it out to be maybe there was a competition. Josh Shapiro and Tim Walz texted and talked throughout that entire process, and what they said is whoever can best serve with Kamala Harris to help her win, that is the choice we want. And the person who introduced us in our very first rally, when we had just found out that morning, and so had he, so had they, the very first person who introduced us and greeted us in Pennsylvania was your governor and your First Lady. That's what Pennsylvania is. I appreciate that more than I can ever say. It speaks to your spirit. It speaks to your spirit. And that's why I'm moving there. right? Right, thank you. So some of you know my name is Gwen. I should start with that. And I am so proud to be on Team Harris Walz. And I can't think of a better team to help get it done, right, than Kamala and Tim. They both have spent their entire careers fighting for middle-class families. And those are families like the ones they grew up in. You know a little bit about Tim's bio, and you're going to know a lot more before the end of this convention. They want to give everyone a chance to chase the American dream, every single person. And I think that's something that we share in common, that maybe the other side of the ticket doesn't believe in the same way. But we believe that in our bones. And together, Kamala and Tim are going to fight. They are going to fight for the future, for all of our sons and daughters and friends and neighbors, for everyone. And that fight is a tough fight. It has been just a little bit more than a week since Tim joined the ticket. We're counting the days because it's been a whirlwind. A whirlwind. And this is an opportunity, right, to sort of take a breath, take a beat here in this beautiful room, in this beautiful place, and think about what that means for the next 77 days or so, right? Like all of you in this room, I wear a lot of different hats. Or I like to put it in my own words, which I often do. I wear a lot of different shoes. Right? Yeah. Yep. I wear a lot of different shoes. I'm a mom, and I'm going to start with that. And I'm a friend. And I'm a sister. And I'm a First Lady of Minnesota. Right? Yeah. Thank you, friends. Friends in the state. Right? And I'm also a retired military spouse. And for most of my life, more than 29 years in public education, and then teaching again since Tim has been the governor, I'm a teacher. Yeah. An educator. Are there any teachers in the house today? Stand up, teachers! Teachers, stand up! Stand up, teachers! Thank you for your work. Thank you for your work. It's almost back to school time, right? And as we say in education, let's take some people back to school, right? Yes. That's how Tim and I first met. And we were both teaching in Nebraska. And I'd just like to tell you a little bit of story about that, so you might know how Tim and I worked together, or at least think so. Now he taught, do you know what he taught? What is it? Social studies, bingo, right? But I taught English. And we shared a classroom in this school. It was the old choir room, wasn't enough space, so they put a divider right down the middle of the old choir room. He was on one side of it, and I was on the other side of it. And I have to tell you, his classroom was a little louder than mine. You might have guessed that. There was a lot of energy in that classroom. But the first thing I knew about Tim Walz was that we shared a belief that education can be and is transformative, because we saw that firsthand. We lived that firsthand. I want to tell you about a student quickly named Waylon. And Waylon was a football player. And he was on the team that Tim coached, and he was a student in my English classroom. And he was brilliant on the football field. But guess what? He was difficult in my classroom. You know students, right, like that? Maybe you were one of them. Huh? Maybe you were one of them. Waylon was reading way below grade level. Now, I taught high school English, right? Way below grade level. And he was acting out in my class. And actually, it was an attempt to hide it from his peers, right? And from me. Now, in our school, a student who was failing a core class couldn't participate in sports. That was the school rule. I know, probably doesn't make a lot of sense, but you know, those are some things we do. So I knew this was going to be trouble. So Coach Walz and I huddled up and we made a plan. We said, if Waylon could come in for tutoring, either before school or during lunch or maybe even sometimes after school, several times a week, he could keep playing football. That was the deal. But we had to improve his reading. Now he agreed, and he worked hard. And I started to see some of that work that I saw on the football field in my classroom. And there were good days and there were bad days. But Waylon's reading began to improve. And he continued the tutoring, even after the season ended. We never discussed it, right? We never discussed it. We just kept on reading. We just kept on reading. And Tim would often cross that thin divider of our classroom, and he'd come and read with Waylon. And he'd talk about the books Waylon was reading, and he'd cheer him on. That was the partnership that Tim and I formed. Because together, for that individual student, Waylon, who went on to graduate from high school, and who had a shot to succeed, who had a chance to succeed, we said, it's about that person. We win when we think about individual people, when we think about real people, when we are real people. Right? Tim believes so strongly that every child deserves a chance, every person deserves a chance to get ahead, and I know that Vice President Harris shares that also. And importantly for us, that is a vision that they are going to fight for every single day in the White House. We will build a future for our children, for our neighbors, for our families, for our friends, that we can be proud of. That's really something, right? That is something. Last thing I want to tell you about myself. My mom used to say, now you maybe know my mom without even knowing my mom, right? Gwen, do the work that's in front of you. When I was younger, I thought that meant the dishes, or maybe the laundry, the work that was in front of me. It was more profound than that. My mom was asking me to look around, see the world around me, see what was going on, and see how I might serve, how I might contribute, what I might do. My mom, who is now almost 86, still a church organist, still a substitute teacher on occasion in PE, still says that to me, Gwen, do the work that is in front of you. So I am here, Pennsylvania, to ask you to do that work together, that we define and we work together, work that is both thoughtful and actionable, but heartfelt and important. Now, as delegates to this convention, you already embody this advice. You're already here. You're already getting it right. But we have 77 days, right? 77 days to go. That is not a long time. But we can get it done. I am asking you to define that work in front of you and to help me know what that work is in Pennsylvania. Because as I told you, I'm coming to Pennsylvania. I've been there twice already in the last 7 days or so, right? Volunteer, bring a friend, have a conversation in parking lots, knock a door, bake brownies for people who are making phone calls, make phone calls, right? Bake bars, as we say in Minnesota, for those people who are knocking doors. Knock doors. Let's do every single thing we can and define it with what you see as the work, and tell me what that work is, and let's do it together. But this is the way we win. This is the way we win. It's the only way. Together. Together we define this. Tell me who you are. Let me know you. Let me meet you. Let me understand you. And let's build a relationship together that wins for this ticket for this country. I was so inspired by last night, weren't you? Oh my gosh, I have to tell you, it's a little bit difficult to get up and speak this morning when you heard all those really great speakers last night. But I said, no, I'm still coming. I'm still coming because we're going to do that work. But I want you to know how I see this, how I feel this, and just a little bit about me, because I want you to know that together we will do this. And together we will win this thing. So I'm just going to ask you to give me a little energy here before we leave, because I want you to say what the VP says. Hello. She says, when we fight, we win. When we fight, we win. And when we fight Pennsylvania, we win Pennsylvania. Let's do this together. See you out there. Oh, thank you. That's very kind. Thank you. Oh, you're so nice. Okay. Thank you. See you on the trail.
Pennsylvania Democrats, how about another